Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Teacher Mindset Matters. So, as you know, I'm going live every other week, and I speak on different topics when it comes to mindset for teachers. And over the past few weeks, we've been speaking about saboteurs and the mindset related to that. So, today's session is going to be about saboteurs as well, and specifically, we are going to speak about victim and restless saboteurs in teaching. What does it mean? What is a saboteur? And how does a victim and restless saboteur show up in your daily life as a teacher? So that's the topic. And hopefully, by the end of this session, you will be able to recognize or maybe understand, identify if you have victim saboteur or maybe restless saboteur and what you can do with it. And I will share very good examples as well that will be relevant to you teachers. So if you're watching me live, just say hi so that I know who is here, where you are joining me from. If you're watching the recording, say hi as well and tell me where you're watching the recording from. So again, I am Steffi, a growth coach for teachers, and I help teachers with mindset because I realize myself that the most challenging thing is actually mindset, is how you approach things in life. So even when I become a teacher entrepreneur and I follow the best strategy I could, I still was struggling a lot. And only later did I realize that actually it was my mindset struggles and challenges that I had that were holding me back. And these are the saboteurs we are going to talk about today. So before I start, actually, I just wanted to remind you on one very important event that is happening today at Bowie, where we help teachers get more impact, freedom, and income. And the event for today is the online summit. So I'm just going to share my screen so that I can show you what I mean. And then we are going to go straight away into my topic that I've prepared for you today. So the event for today, where you can join, and I'm going to speak more about mindset there, but there will be more teachers speaking about their journey and their mindset challenges they had, is the Teacher Success Online Summit. So it's today. It's actually starting in about 2 hours from now, and it's going to take 3 hours, but you can stay for as long as you can. And also, if you can't join at all, you can maybe just watch the recording once you register. It's a free event, and it's going to be really good for all sorts of teachers. So the teachers who are school teachers and they would like to maybe become online teachers or maybe even independent online teachers. And it's also for teachers who already are online teachers and who already are independent teachers but want to become even better at what they are doing and get more consistent results at a higher rate. So it's going to be a really interesting summit, and we've got around 10 teachers, at least 10 teachers we've invited to speak about different topics, and they are going to be part of our panel as well. So we prepared some good questions for them. If you want to join this event, I'm just going to share the link with you in the comments, and then we can just start a session. So if there are any questions as well, please let me know so that I can answer them. And again, as I said, these mindset sessions are every other week with me. And today's topic is the victim and restless saboteurs, how we can overcome it or overcome them as teachers. So let me just share my screen with you. I think it's going to be easier for those of you who are more like visual types, and we can take it from there. Also, I always like to ask everyone to set the intention for the session. So, what would you ideally want to get by the end of this session? I find this really powerful because when we have really clear and powerful intentions, it's so much easier for our brain to make the most out of everything we are doing. So that's why I encourage you to make an intention right now, set an intention. What you would love to get by the end of the session. So why are you investing your time in this session? And how would this be the best session possible for you today? Okay, if you want to share that with me, please share it in the chat so that I can read it. The very, very, very important thing to realize is that whatever we are working on in terms of our mindset, if it's restless, victim saboteurs, or any other mindset challenges we may have, it's a journey. So that's why this visual here of me just walking on the stones or whatever it is, like milestones, or maybe we can take them as baby steps. I think these are baby steps. It's all about the journey. So it's never like, oh, I am completely kind of like not doing well in my life and then I'm doing only well in my life. We are always there on the spectrum somewhere between not doing really well and doing super well. And we are learning every day something new. And sometimes they are just nuances of something that we have been learning about and implementing in our lives. So it's important to realize, and I would like to start a session with that we are always on a journey of self-development and growth. So the most important thing is how can we enjoy and make the most out of this journey. So I'm speaking about saboteurs. Again, I wanted to remind you and maybe ask you if you have your own definition of a saboteur. But what is a saboteur? What is it, the saboteur? Oh, Helena is joining us. Great. I'm so happy you're here, Helena. So, what is a saboteur? How do we understand a saboteur? What is it? What is it? Yes, so it's a negative voice, self sabotaging thought or behavior in your mind that holds you back. So it's something that holds you back, that doesn't serve you. If it's a negative voice, it's usually discouraging you from what you want to achieve. And what is very typical for saboteurs is that they tell us different types of lies. I am good for you because blah, 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 blah. And I will share the lies victim and restless saboteur tell us just in a few minutes. But the sad thing is, these saboteurs are actually quite automatic and they are very discreet. We don't even know they are there. They're full of secrets in a way. We are not aware the saboteurs are there and they are running our lives. They are in command very, very often. So the positive intelligence, which is the field, the topic I'm speaking about, is actually our ability to switch from the negative thinking to the positive thinking and stay calmer, more resilient, and empowered in any given situation and circumstances and in any given challenge. So, today, what we are going to look at, first of all, we are going to get reminded again of those 10 saboteurs, these inner negative voices that we all have. So, some of us show different top saboteurs than others, but we all have these saboteurs. And I already mentioned that in the previous sessions that the saboteurs are actually developed in our childhood when we are little children and when we do our best to protect ourselves so that we feel safe, we feel loved, we feel appreciated, and we feel respected and accepted by the adults around us. And we do the best what we can. We use those saboteurs to protect our true essence. And what we do actually is we use our natural strengths, but by using the saboteurs, we overuse our natural strengths. And I'm going to reveal to you just in a few minutes what are the natural strengths of the restless and victim saboteurs. Okay. Before that, I would like to remind you of these 10 saboteurs again. We've spoken about all of them in the previous sessions. And today's the victim and the restless one, which are the last two saboteurs on our list. But before we spoke about judge, stickler, controller, hyperachiever, hyper-rational, hyper-vigilant, pleaser, avoider. And today we are going to speak about victim and restless. So these are the 10 saboteurs that are ready to mess things up. Unfortunately, okay, and very often without us even knowing about it. If you would like to know more about these 8 saboteurs, just go to the previous sessions where I talk about them. But today's session is about victim and restless saboteur. Okay, yes, Helena is saying our mind talking. Yes, 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 yes. So the saboteurs is when your mind is talking, but it's a negative part of your mind, okay, that is trying to sabotage you and do something to discourage you from what you really want to achieve. Now, why would our brain want to do that? That's a question, right? So the reason for that is because our brain was built for survival. So our brain is doing our best to, well, protect us, but to keep us going without wasting or without putting too much energy into something new. So that's why the brain likes to follow status quo, even though sometimes it actually doesn't suit us, even though it's not good for us, but because it doesn't want to waste more energy. So that's why this is happening when it comes to this mind being negative, or part of our mind being negative. Now, let's talk about victim and restless. So we are going to start with the first one, with the victim saboteur. And I'm going to read this common description. So, victim saboteur is that inner voice telling you you are powerless, stuck, and things are always happening to you. Now, this is very important to realize that actually what a victim is trying to do, and the big lie of a victim saboteur, is that I'm good for you because I make people notice you, I make people like you. But actually, in reality, what is happening when we are victimizing ourselves, when we are being very emotional and dramatic in a way and attracting a lot of attention of other people to our emotions and to our kind of bad things in our life, this is where we are sabotaging ourselves. And this is where we actually attract not love, but pity. So pity, so people then have pity, or people pity us, okay? Pity on us, because that's what we attract. So the victim saboteur is lying to us, thinking that, okay, if you're dramatic, emotional, if you talk about the things that don't go well in your life and you complain, people will actually love you. And this is what we all want. We want to be loved. But this saboteur actually doesn't give us this unconditional love. It just gives us some maybe conditional love or approval when people feel maybe sorry for us, which is not the type of love we would really like to receive. And as with each saboteur, it's very important to remember, which I already mentioned, that the saboteurs are just overusing our natural strengths. We sometimes may think, oh, but our saboteurs are very important for us so that we can succeed in life. But this is not true. So, what we need is just the strengths that those saboteurs are overusing. So, the natural saboteur of a victim, or somebody who is a victim, is somebody with a very high emotional intelligence, somebody who can understand their own inner world, what's happening inside. And sometimes they are very brave to actually face all sorts of negative emotions, which is very good. It's a natural strength, but then it's overused when we use these emotions and we emotionalize things too much, and we bring other people's attentions to our emotions too much, so that people feel like they want to pity us, okay, not love us naturally. So this is where the problem is. But there are natural strengths of each saboteur, and the victim as well has these strengths which are actually overused. Let me know if you have any questions as I explain all of these, because if you do, I can go into more detail. And I'm going to give you an example as well with each of these saboteurs, how it is showing up for teachers in teaching. But again, so this is one of the saboteurs that many teachers have. And me, myself, I remember I used to really be, I used to play a victim. That was about 5 to 6 years ago when I was a teacher and I was not charging a lot of money. I was charging about £12.50 per hour as a English language teacher in a private language school in London, UK. And I felt really sorry for myself. And I was talking a lot about how unlucky I am, or all the teachers, not just me, around me, who were earning this little money. And then, of course, many people would feel sorry for myself, and they would say all sorts of things just to make me feel better. Maybe sometimes they would even offer to give me gifts or money and things like that. And I knew that when I was acting in this way, I was not really empowered. I knew I was attracting kind of pity. and people feeling sorry for me. And that's something I didn't want. But at that time, I didn't know any better. So that's what I was doing naturally to kind of like attract some kind of attention, maybe, and love. And even people's, in a way, acknowledgement that, yes, us teachers, it's not easy for us to motivate students, to teach our students when we are not taken care of properly. So maybe the intention was good in a way. I wanted to bring it up and I wanted teachers to be more respected, but I didn't do it in the right way because of the saboteur, overusing my natural strengths. Very important to realize is that with each saboteur, there is a sage mode, which is the opposite. So when we follow the sage steps, this is where we shift from the saboteur to the sage mode. So the sage mode is the calmer you, the true essence of you, the one that is resilient. And the sage steps for somebody who shows a victim saboteur is number one, give yourself a big hack. So do it right now, give yourself a big hug. Because if we want to attract more love, we need to give more love to ourselves first. Then we will be able to attract more of this unconditional and true and beautiful love. So that's number one, sage step. And number two is to ask yourself, where can I take ownership and find my power in this situation? Because very often when we are in this victim saboteur mode, we think like, oh, I don't have any power here, any control of this situation. It's all happening to me. Life is happening to me. These students are behaving this nasty to me, or I am earning this little money because of the bad situations of everything. So it feels like I don't have any control in my life. But the sage steps are actually, you need to take control and ownership of this situation you are in. It's very important. And I can see Helena is just saying it's important to be grateful for what we have and not complaining about what you don't. Definitely, that's one of the steps. I agree with you. When we are grateful for what we have, we do attract more of what we already have. And yes, just by giving ourselves that love and appreciation to start with, it's a very, very good step. So I want to give you now a few examples, actually a couple of examples of a victim saboteur. So the first one is feeling powerless in business growth. Let me just expand on it, what I mean by this. So the thoughts of somebody who is a victim saboteur can be, no matter what I do, other teachers seem to have more students than me. It's just not fair. And I guess this may apply to teachers who already are looking for their students online, or maybe on online platforms or online schools, or even on social media. So sometimes we may feel this way, like no matter what I do, other teachers seems to have more students than me. It's just not fair. And the struggle is actually, instead of taking action to improve marketing or pricing, the teacher feels stuck and defeated. So that's why when I go back to these sage steps is to ask yourself, where can I take ownership and find my power in this situation? And then maybe what is an empowered action I can take in this situation so that I use my skills the best way I can in the situation which is here for me. So this was one example. Then the second one is struggling with student retention. So now imagine you already have students as a teacher and you struggle to keep them, to retain them. So the thoughts may be, students always leave after a few months. I guess I'm just not the kind of teacher people stick with. So this is the victim thinking. And then, when you have this victim thinking, then you feel as a victim and then you behave as a victim and then you attract the results and the reality, whatever is happening around you, as a victim from this victim mode. So the struggle here is, instead of analyzing and improving their teaching approach, or maybe even follow-up strategy, how they can follow up with their students, the teacher resigns to the belief that they have no control over student retention. So I just wanted to give you these two examples. I don't know if you resonate with them. And if you do, just say, yes, I resonate, then I will know if this relates to you. And if you have maybe more examples of any examples from your life, maybe, or from other teachers, just feel free to share them. I'll be more than happy to read them aloud. But this was about the victim saboteur. Now I would like to continue. Um, sorry. Let me just actually go back. I will stop sharing because I think I forgot to unhide a few slides that actually I want to share with you today. So I will just do it very, very quickly now. Thank you for your patience. And maybe in the meantime, just let me know what resonates with you the most from here, what I've mentioned just now. As I prepare these examples, they will be ready. You can just let me know your takeaways so far. And I'm ready to share my screen again. Okay. So I can see what Helena is saying. In fact, I used to. Nowadays, less and less. It's a process, definitely. I 100% agree with this. So as I said at the very beginning, I don't know, Helena, if you were here when I was sharing this, but we are all on this journey. And we can never say like, oh, I've arrived there. I'm all good. I'm all sage right now. Like I'm, my pure essence. Maybe there are a few individuals in this world who are in that state all the time. But I do believe the majority of us, or most of us, are on the spectrum from the saboteur to sage. And it all depends how much we weaken our saboteurs and how much we strengthen or energize the sage brain. Okay, so it's the saboteur brain, the sage brain, and the difference is how much we actually work on improving and strengthening those sage powers and muscles. So let's get back to what we were talking about, which is the restless saboteur. Now, the restless saboteur is the inner voice that constantly urges you to move on to the next thing, making it hard to stay focused or satisfied with the present moment. So, this is the typical kind of situation where somebody just works on one project, then starts another project because it sounds exciting, then another project, and never finishes that one thing, either one project or maybe one conversation or one activity, which is all good to be excited about different types of things, but sometimes it's very important to actually complete and finish one thing till the end, and then we can start another thing. Because then this is where anxiety starts, where actually we want to manage everything and then we become overwhelmed, sometimes overworked, anxious, because nothing is really completed. The big lie of this saboteur is that, oh, I'm good for you. I'm here to make you succeed because you will get so many interesting things in your life, so many great projects, so many great people in your life. But actually, that's a big lie because if we are not completing anything and if we are not really present with anyone, then people will not really want to stay with us. And we are not really productive if we start a project and not finish it till the end. So it's a big lie of this saboteur. The natural strengths, there are many natural strengths of this saboteur. But then they are overused, of course, with the restless. But the natural strength of somebody who has a restless saboteur and when they are not overused is the person is really an exciting person to be around. Like it's a person with this great energy, great ideas. It's a person who is always kind of like thinking, brainstorming, and who is planning different projects. It's an inspiring person who always is studying something new, who is in self-development. But again, it's becoming a saboteur when it's overused, when it becomes a person who never finishes anything they start, or very rarely finishes everything they start and doesn't really enjoy the process where they are right now. So it's very important, yes, to realize this, that it's great to have these natural strengths, but when the problem starts is when they are overused. If you have any questions at any point, just let me know so that I can just use them in what I'm explaining. Oh, yes. I can see Helena is saying, definitely me, restless. Yes, fair enough. And I guess, Helena, I don't know if it applies to you as well because you said you travel a lot. So I don't know how much you enjoy your traveling and if you manage to really be present anywhere you are. Sometimes, actually, many people say that, okay, I'm restless in this area of my life, but not here. So I don't know how it is with you. Uh, Kathy. Oh my God, that's me. I love so many things. Yes, Kathy, exactly. So that's when, but it's not a problem to love so many things and maybe to enjoy even many of them, but it's like how much present we are in them. Because I know I have some of my friends who are actually, let's say, with me. We talk about something and then they're already doing something else in their mind and they are not actually present. So the question is maybe how much you can enjoy those many things that you love and how much you are present with those things, or even how many projects you have started, exciting projects, I mean, and you have finished them. So these are the questions I would ask, very important questions. And so, what would be the sage steps for somebody who has this restless saboteur? So it would be number one, focus on what is in front of you. This is simpler said than done. So focus on what is in front of you. And number two, do the PQ reps. For those of you who don't know what the PQ reps are and you were not in my previous sessions, then the PQ stands for positive intelligence. So positive intelligence reps means repetitions, means mental exercises that you can do to bring your uh, primary attention or focus to your physical sensation. And the reason why we do it is not just with the restless saboteur, is in general with all the saboteurs, is to help us switch or transition from the saboteur negative brain to the sage positive brain. So this is kind of like this switch. It gives you time and space to zoom out a little bit, become calmer, and kind of look at the situation from a more distant position and kind of like even distance yourself from here and see it clearer. So that's what helps you with. And these PQ reps, they don't have to be longer than even 2 minutes. They can be 1 to 2 minutes and even a few seconds to help you make that switch. They are very powerful. And I guess the most powerful out of all the saboteurs, it's for the restless saboteur. Because again, with the restless saboteur, you are rarely present where you are. So with these PQ reps, you can become more present to where you are. Now, many people ask, is it the same as meditation or as prayer or as yoga or as mindful, any other mindful activities? So basically, the difference is, or what do they have in common? What do they have in common? They bring you, all of this bring you peace, more peace and calm and joy, right? And relax. But the PQ reps are much shorter. So maybe when we meditate or do yoga, it may take half an hour or 1 hour. But this is just as short as 1 or 2 minutes, and you can already see some change. So they are not a replacement of anything that I just mentioned, but they are just this faster form of just bringing you more peace and calm when you face any challenging situation. And there are different types of them. So actually, I shared them here. At least 10 of them. There are more than that, but there are at least 10 PQ reps to energize your sage brain and help you become more empowered. Um, and actually, I am just reading some comments from you. Helena is saying that she doesn't travel as much as she wanted to. I see. Yeah. Well, but I know you love traveling, so I hope you can do more of that. Also, Helena is saying, I have too many ideas, but then the actions. Yes, exactly. So this is a very typical example of somebody who has a restless saboteur. A lot of examples, a lot of ideas. These are very often the visionary thinkers. So people who have a vision for the society, for themselves, for the community around. And it's amazing. These are good leaders. But the problem is when these projects or ideas are not brought into reality, or even if they are tangible but they are not taken action on, then they don't become real. um yes, so that's a good point. And Kathy is saying, when I'm traveling, I like it so much, and I'm very present at that moment, soaking it, in, but always ready to jump into the next thing. So I guess that's a good combination, Kathy. So when you are present where you are, but then you allow yourself to think about the next activity in a more present way, that's great. So actually, it is very good to be able to catch the saboteur, kind of like when you feel like, oh, I'm restless, just to catch the saboteur, like, oh, I caught you. Now I know the saboteur, the restless saboteur is trying to take control over my day today, but now I want to be in my control. But if we allow our saboteur mind, the restless mind, to plan another activity while we are still in one activity, it's okay. But it's not, the problem is when we can't even enjoy where we are because we are already planning the next one. So there is when is the problem. It doesn't mean like you cannot plan another activity when you are doing one activity, but what consciousness or what presence you bring to that. That will be the point here. Um, yes, and Helena is saying, I love teaching, but not like this. Teaching everyone is teaching no one. Yes. Do you know who said it? Teaching everyone is teaching no one. Somebody very famous said this quote before, and I still remember it from 5 years ago when I started working with James. Yes, James Liu said, teaching everyone is teaching no one. So the man who is trying to catch two rabbits catches none. I like that, Helena. Good reminder. So let's just go back to our topic about these 10 picky reps. Now, those of you who are watching me live, I want you to go with me through these picky reps, which means again, positive intelligence mental exercises. So there is the breath focus, sound listening, visual focus, body scan, taste focus, touch sensation, mindful listening, self-compassion with hand and chest, on chest, grounding focus, and mindful walk. So as I said, there are more than this. I just chose 10. I want you to choose just one right now, and I'm going to practice that one with you. I guess I will just choose the one that will be repeated the most. Or maybe I will see which one you suggest, and then I can decide as well. I think the only one we can't do right now is the mindful walk because I don't know how my internet would be if I was walking with this laptop right now. So let's just skip the last one for now. But you can practice that one by yourself on your own. Just choose maybe one of those that you can see that you would like to practice with me right now. If you don't choose, I'll choose for you. I will choose my favorite. And then you cannot complain if you don't like it. So it's up to you. You choose or I choose. I will give you a few seconds. Okay, good. So I choose. I choose, and actually, what I will do, I will just combine, I guess, two or three of them at the same time. You don't have to do that. You can just do one, one by one, or you can combine them. You can be very creative with them. But again, the PQ reps help you become more present to what it is. So if there is any challenging situation and you do this PQ rep, you give yourself the chance to be in command. So it's not your saboteur that is in command anymore, but it's you. And for this purpose, or for this session today, I chose breath focus, then sound listening, and self-compassion with hands on chest. Okay, so I will combine them and I will guide you through this process. So what I want you to do right now is to, if you can, I don't know what you're doing, but if you can, just close your eyes and take a deep breath. And then when you are ready, exhale. Repeat it a few times. And with each breath, become more present and relaxed. Now, as you are breathing, I want you to start focusing on the sound which is the closest to you. Now, I don't know where you are because I can't see you. Maybe you are on a busy road. Maybe you are by the beach. Maybe you're just sitting in your living room on your terrace and listening to my voice. Maybe there are some birds around you, some public transport. Whatever it is, I want you to listen to the sound which is the closest to you. When I say listen, I mean observe that sound. You don't judge it, you don't analyze it, you don't question it. You just listen to it and observe it with your ears. Maybe the sound closest to you right now is my voice. So just become more present to what I'm saying and again to the sounds around you. If your thoughts are trying to take you away from this exercise, it's okay. It's natural, it's happening. Just bring your attention back to the sounds around you. And maybe when you are ready, focus on the sound which is the farthest from you. Maybe it's so quiet you can't even hear it, but yet you can still hear it. Just focus on that sound. As you do that, you keep breathing. And maybe listen to your breath sounds as well. Now, as you are breathing and still focusing on the sounds around you, I want you to put one of your hands on your chest and the other one on your stomach and keep breathing. And at the same time, I want you to acknowledge yourself for being courageous today to look at your saboteurs, maybe to identify them and to decide or to being committed to doing something with them. Just acknowledge yourself for being this brave by placing your hand on your chest and on your stomach and keep breathing. When you are ready, I want you to open your eyes and to come back to where you are. Maybe some of you couldn't practice the full picky rep I was doing right now because you were maybe driving or I don't know what you were doing, so that's okay. But just to let you know, you can practice these picky reps at any point when you are in a challenging situation, when you want to become more present and you want to switch more to this positive thinking, and just if you want to become more empowered in that situation. And again, this is not just for the restless saboteur, but this is for all the saboteurs when we want to weaken them. Okay, I hope you found this helpful. Now, I want to give you 2 examples of a restless saboteur so that you can imagine how it shows up in our lives as teachers. So the first example is constantly jumping between ideas without focus. So the thoughts may be, maybe I should start a YouTube channel or create a new course or try Instagram ads. Okay, so these are many great ideas. And the struggle is actually the teacher spreads themselves too thin, constantly switching strategies without consistency, leading to slow or no progress. Okay, so this is the challenge and example. And I know many teachers do struggle with this, having many ideas but not enough focus and consistency. And that's why they are stuck in their lives where they are. Okay, because if we keep jumping from one idea to another without completing it, we won't make much progress, or if so, very little progress. Another example would be overcommitting and feeling overwhelmed. So the thoughts here would be, I keep saying yes to new projects, workshops, and ideas because I don't want to miss out. But now I have no time for myself. So the struggle here is the teacher takes on too many commitments at once, leading to stress, burnout, and lack of follow through on important things. And I know, again, as I said, the strengths of a restless person are that they are exciting to be around. They are always inspired by new ideas, new projects, and they want to take part in everything potentially. But the problem becomes, or the saboteur happens, when there is no completion, when there is not enough focus in where they are. So just these two examples I wanted to give you. And now, as we will be wrapping up in a couple of minutes, I want you to be reminded again that it's very important to catch your saboteur. That's the negative feeling that you have, or feeling anxious, feeling maybe angry, frustrated, whatever feeling it is. You just need to catch it. And the best way would be by labeling it. So if you know this is the restless saboteur, then you can just say, "Oh, I caught you, restless saboteur." And then you follow the sage steps that I shared with you. So for the victim saboteur, it was to give yourself a big hug and then to ask yourself, what can I do right now that is in my power? And how can I take this empowered action? And for the restless saboteur, the sage steps were, how can I be really present to what it is in front of me? And following these PQ reps, which I was sharing with you. And then, of course, it's very important to celebrate. We shouldn't forget to celebrate, because when we don't celebrate, then our brain will always look at where we are not just yet. So it's important to celebrate and see what we have achieved already. Okay, let me see who is still here. Uh, Helena is saying, I have a restless saboteur. Kati, fear of missing out, taking on too much. You hit the nail on the head. Yes, so this happens to many of us, Kati. And it's just good to become aware. So in this session, hopefully you have become aware by what these saboteurs are about and how they are impacting your life in a negative way. Just this pure awareness is 50% on the kind of success result already. Another 50% is to take steps to do something about it. So again, these mindset sessions are here for you to become more aware about the mindset struggles you might have, and then maybe what are the next steps that you can do with it. And I will have another mindset session with you in 2 weeks from now. I will choose the topic. I don't know the topic just yet, but it will be something about mental fitness, of course. You can always suggest the topics you would like me to talk about, and I will be more than happy to talk about them. And again, just for those of you who are still here and watching me live and don't know about our Success Online Summit, which is a free event that we are hosting now in 1 hour and 15 minutes, I just want to bring this to your attention. So it's the Teacher Success Online Summit. It's a very good summit for those teachers who are either teaching for schools, or maybe they are online but not still getting results as online teachers, or maybe even online teachers who already have results but maybe getting consistent results. So we share a lot of strategies here, a lot of strategies and mindset as well. I will be speaking on the topic of mindset tomorrow, because it takes 2 days, so it's today and tomorrow. And we are going to have about 10 teachers that we invited to speak about different topics, and they will share their journeys as well, which may be encouraging for you. So I just wanted to share this with you, and please register if you haven't done so just yet. Actually, I will share this one so that you can register for the future events as well if you want to. And it was a huge pleasure to have you in this session with me today. And I will see you in 2 weeks again. Please share your takeaways with me if you have any. And thank you so much for being here, for spending this time here. Thank you. Yes, awareness, yes, and be present. Nicely put, Helena. Have a beautiful day, everyone. Bye bye.